What's that sound? It's for amusement only, the EM and Bingo Pinball Podcast.
Welcome back to For Amusement Only. This is Nick Baldridge. So tonight I started looking at the nightclub and figuring out exactly what's needed to get it back in running order. I decided to start with the head, as all the mechanisms will need to be cleaned and adjusted. It had been sitting for some time. So tonight I've been rebuilding steppers, changing lamps, and starting to shop the Magic Squares unit. Nightclub is a Magic Squares game, which means that it has 4 sets of 4 numbers that rotate in a circle. It's the last type of moving number game that Bally made that I didn't have one of. So, looking in the head, because it's an older game, the beauty is that there's only a handful of steppers. So, shopping that took almost no time at all, which is pretty great. I'm going to have to look in the manual. Bally put the appropriate coil sizes in each drawing of the unit, and the score stepper is missing a couple plungers and a couple coils, so I'll get those installed, and then the head is otherwise complete. I'm going to oil the clutches, which I believe I've mentioned before, requires neat's foot oil, and then a screwdriver, and a syringe. And what I do is I squirt the neat's foot oil directly onto the rough side of the leather clutch, and then I wipe off any excess as it drips out, let it sit for a while, and then put some more in. This is a good thing to do periodically because the clutches will dry out and then the metal will just tear into that leather. It's an interesting dichotomy there, the harsh metal of the steel connecting with the soft leather in these clutches. It's very odd, but works very well. So, aside from that, that's pretty much it for the head. The cab is a different story. So I have what's essentially a playfield blank in there currently, and then I have a new playfield blank, but I don't have any of the switches which sense the balls, nor do I have any of the lamp sockets or rebound springs for the lamp sockets or the lamp shields. So I'm going to have to scavenge for parts, and I happen to have another playfield, a solid state playfield that came with, but I actually have other plans for that. So what I'm probably going to do is pull from my other parts that I have laying around and see if I can construct something from that. Now the biggest problem is the switches that go underneath of the holes to sense the balls. I don't have any spares of those for a 25-hole game, so I'm going to have to find somebody that's selling them, or a populated playfield somewhere, which shouldn't be too hard to find. But other than that, the side rails need to be refinished, and there's a missing mechanism which also goes under the playfield called the shutter motor, along with the baffle, and then the ball return board. All that needs to be either constructed or scavenged from somewhere. So I'll be on the lookout. But in the meantime, I'll be playing a lot of Gaytime while I do this. So it does bear mentioning that once I have the appropriate coils I was mentioning, I can fire the game up. And even though the playfield's not connected, I'll be able to see if the control unit and the mixer motor are turning appropriately and doing what they're supposed to do. Turning it by hand, everything looks good, so I'm hopeful that it'll just kind of roar to life, and I'll be able to start messing around with the playfield mechanics and see what I can do there. But there's a bit of cleaning ahead of me. I have managed to clean all of the steppers already, which I think I mentioned earlier. And as I've talked about on a much earlier podcast, what I'm doing is checking to see how responsive the steppers are, disassembling them from the spider side once I have the stepper in the reset position, cleaning the rivets with Scotch-Brite pad, then taking a drop of 3-in-1 and running around the rivets, contact area, putting the spider back on. Now, in most of these instances, the gears themselves are in really clean condition. I've not seen anything like it ever. In any of the Bally games that I've ever shopped, there's usually a bunch of goo that's fossilized around the gear, but these ones look brand new. So I haven't had to do a lot of cleaning of the shaft of the nylon gear, nor in a couple instances did I even have to unwind the clock spring on the back of the nylon gear. So that's been a pretty neat thing to experience here, and we'll see if my luck holds. For now, I'm working on cleaning the numbers that came off the magic squares, and we'll see what I can do. Alright, well, thank you very much for listening. My name again is Nick Baldridge. You can reach me at foramusementonlypodcast@gmail.com. You can listen to us on iTunes, Stitcher, Pocket Cast, via RSS on Facebook. You can follow me on Twitter at Bingo Podcast. You can follow me on Instagram at nbaldridge. Or you can listen to us on our website, which is foramusementonly.libsyn.com. Thank you very much for listening, and I'll talk to you next time.